Hi, everybody. My name, obviously, is Sharon C. Jenkins. If you've reached this point in the summit, you know that I am the summit host, and I love 50 plus and flirty. The reason why I love 50 plus and flirty, because I am a firm believer that love does not have to end in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s. You could be 100. Matter of fact, I saw somebody jump the broom who was in their hundreds the other day. I said, look at there. So anyway, I I am so thrilled today. I have the vivacious, now I have to say her stage name, the vivacious Camille St. Charles, Mississippi, okay, in the house. Now, let me tell you up front, this is a grown and sexy conversation. And if you ain't grown and sexy, baby, you might want to just say, okay, I'll go look at something else.
Mhm.
But I can tell you, if you stay, you're going to be entertained. Okay.
Mhm.
So imagine this. Meet Camille St. Charles, Mississippi, the multi-talented CEO and founder of Four Rivers and a Boot Publishing Company in Detroit, Michigan, a place that still holds my heart. I love Detroit. Her background is in fashion, makeup, and over 20 years of experience. She has that. I'll tell you, honey, child. She has excelled as a best-selling author, creator of multiple novel series spanning various genres, greeting card entrepreneur, podcaster, cookbook creator, and ghostwriter. Oh, she has contributed to two magazines, and she is known for captivating readers with her limitless stories. She is also known as a romantic architect. I love that. Okay. Amazon lauds her as an emerging author who transports readers to another world with her transformative and inspiring works. All right, get ready to be spellbound by Camille's literary magic. Welcome, 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 Miss Camille.
Hi there, Sharon, and everyone out there in Sharon land.
And that is an interesting place. Take my word for it. One of the wonderful things I like about you is your master storyteller ability. You tell a story like no other author that I know. Now, I have my favorites, but when it comes to putting pen to paper and taking an imaginative journey, if you want to go on an adventure, people need to pick up your books. Okay. So, why did you start writing grown and sexy stuff?
Well, why lie? Sex sales. But I didn't start I started in the sexual arena, but I was somewhat unsure. Then I put it down for a moment because I didn't wish to embarrass or shame my family. My father was a minister, and I kept struggling. And I was talking to him and I was telling him, God told me to write. And he said, well, baby, if God told you to write, you are doing God's will and you have no shame to offer anyone. And if by chance they are somewhat unsure about how you write, and they are somewhat unsure and don't enjoy the sexual aspects of these stories, then they need to have a conversation with God because it has nothing to do with you. You didn't create sex, you're just a storyteller. And he said, I'm going to stand on that because I don't want you to have any shame. And I
Oh,
said, once I got my father's approval and authorization, all bets were off. I was like, well, then let's go. Let's go, baby.
so You started where? Tell us about your journey.
Well, I relocated. I'm nestled inside of irresistible Detroit, Michigan. But I started thinking about writing, playing with it when I was in California. I worked at Macy's. And once I made it out here to Detroit, I became a substitute school teacher and I found out that I didn't like kids like I need to. I need to love them. And I had an admiration for them, but I just didn't like the day-to-day stuff that I had to do. It sort of troubled me. And as a courtesy to the administration and the kids, I removed myself because I was not liking it. I loved my job. And then when the writing presented itself, I was like, wow. You mean to tell me? I was having a conversation with the Lord. I said, you mean to tell me that this has been here all along and I didn't take advantage of it, but I didn't see it. You know, when you're dreaming, you have to be able to believe it yourself. And I didn't see it, nor did I believe it for myself because I thought that I was going to have my fame and fortune in the fashion and the makeup arena. I thought that that was going to be the road that I walked down. But when writing walked in the door, I was like, have mercy. Then when I stepped into the erotic arena, because I am an erotic architect also, when I stepped into the erotic arena, I was like, what? So my mind was like a tour guide, and I was just writing down all these little come what may things and these encounters. And I had a blast just sitting there talking as if I'm having a cup of coffee with a friend. So that's how I
Tell,
got started.
tell us about your first book series.
The R series, my rated R for Roxanne. It's very racy. You have to get your mind right for it. I mean that literally and figuratively. You forgot to get your mind right because it's no small walk in the park. It's a 9-part series and it spans years, but it introduces you to a world of a woman who owns a Lexus car dealership, and she tells you of all the trials and tribulations and the fun that she has because people see the dealership, they don't see the woman. They
Mm,
believe that her dealership is ran by a man. And when customers would desire to talk to the boss about whatever, Roxanne would show up and they would be like, no, 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 I want to talk to Rock, not Roxanne. And on the marquee at her dealership, it says Rock Saga Lexus. And Roxanne
mm,
would make you aware that she is Rock. What can I do for you? And they would be somewhat surprised, men and women, because they believe that only a man could run a vast organization like that, which is untrue. You know, women are very capable of doing any and everything. And the
mm,
stories are more so empowering. And my first book was titled Bring Your Boots because several battles were showing up for Roxanne, and she drove around town with an extra pair of steel-toed boots in the trunk of her car. So, in case some form of fashion of misunderstandings should present themselves, she's got her boots together to help with her footing. You know, because she always loses her place in the line of life. And so she decided to just keep her boots with her. So it's titled Bring Your Boots because you never know what's going to show up and who Roxanne is going to entertain and talk to. So,
So we're moving on from Roxanne, who is one of my friends. I really like her. She is a girl in charge and large. I love it. But let's talk about the cookbook.
oh, my dessert novella Sweets cookbook. Let me see. I grabbed it because I said I wanted to show it. I wasn't sure if I'd have show and tell, but I wanted to show it because it was so much fun. And Sharon helped me with this book. Sharon helped me craft this book
Oh,
titled Dessert Novella Sweets Cookbook. And inside of this book, I take world famous desserts and I write stories, erotic stories titled after world famous desserts.
Mm,
And you get to have a slice of something nice and delicious. And as a courtesy to all of my readers, I would allow you to, I would write the story, I'd present the beautiful picture of what the dessert is.
mm.
And on the next page, I'd give you the ingredients upon how to construct it. It's a real cookbook. And then on the next page, a naughty little story unfolds. Some
Mm.
of them are short and some of them are long. It just depends on what you're looking for. And I have 75 different dessert novellas. I've only written my first offering of these books, but the second one will be coming. So in there.
So you're a publisher. Why did you become a publisher?
Well, I honestly got tired of being tossed around in the literary arena and people telling me what I am not. I did not have the credentials. I did not truly understand. And I would ask for help. And if you're not one of those big boys, you know, the big names, they don't really mess with the little people. And I'm a little person as far as the big publishing company, the arena was concerned. And so therefore they kept telling me to do this, take this out, remove that. We don't like all of the vulgar language and we need you to remove some of the sex scenes. And I was like, I got so upset with some gentleman, some publishing company from Penguin. He made me so mad. I ended up telling Sharon, I said, you know what? I've done so many battles in this publishing arena. I'm going to start my own publishing company because I'm tired of people telling me what I am not. And God told me to write. And I'm like, God, I'm trusting and believing that you're going to clear the path for me. Uh, Good, bad, or indifferent. Just move them out my way because I have work to do. I don't have time to sit there and you stand on the sidelines of my life and tell me everything that I am not. So,
So I love the fact that you told that story because sometimes we aren't designed to be consumed by a lot of people. Sometimes our tribe isn't in the mainstream of things. Sometimes our tribe is looking for us to show up a certain way. And when someone else comes in and molds and shapes us to look like what they think we ought to look like, we lose our authenticity. And so, as you know, this is a dating summit. I can imagine people picking up your stories and sharing them, giggling, laughing, and a few other things.
reading them to one another. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm glad you mentioned that you were a publisher. I'm glad that you mentioned that you are doing your own thing. That's huge. What advice would you give couples who are dating, especially couples who are 50 and over?
Well, after you've reached a certain age, you don't need too much direction. You already know what to do. You do what adults do. But it's nice to see the dance that goes along to get you from point A to like D. I love being able to offer up pertaining to my dessert Novella Suites cookbook. I love being able to offer up information in something that's very sweet and succulent with a little taste of being naughty in it. You know, it makes there's a comedic thread that runs through all of the stories,
Mm.
but make no mistake, it's a lot of sex in the stories. It's a lot. And if by chance you are offended, these are not the stories for you. But if you've made it to 50, you've seen some things. You've got some life experiences that you can pull from. And
Mm.
there's not going to be too much that's going to embarrass and or shame you. So you do what lovers do, or people who are in the process of becoming lovers. So that's why I decided to write it for the grown and sexy. And it's not your grandmother's cookbook. So make no mistake, if you give it to Mima, she might have a problem with some of the situations and the encounters inside of the books. Everybody is a willing participant, and it's 11 stories inside of this book. It's 11. So everybody is an adult. There's no one being forced. You are a willing participant, and you be like, I'm just going with the flow. I'm enjoying myself and I'm enjoying my life. And I love when couples secure the book and they sit down and read it to one another. Like you might pick up the book and find like one of your favorite desserts, and you might sit there and read a couple of verses to your companion. And then he might turn around and pick up the book and see another dessert that he likes, and he might read it to you. So it's like a give and take in the couple arena. No dessert is more than any other dessert, but
Mm.
it's all good, low down and dirty and sexy fun, especially for the 50 and over.
Yeah, because some people are recently divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and some people, unfortunately, are recently widowed. There
Mm-hmm.
are tons of situations and scenarios where we might need a little class on how to light that fire again. And I recommend your books highly. So let's talk about your latest book. Tell me about that story.
Oh, my coffee fairy tales. Woo! Baby, that was a walk that I didn't even know I had in me. This is my latest book, bestseller, Coffee Fairy Tales, Table for Two. It's a bestseller on Amazon.
Wow.
So I used to be a coffee vendor. I would go to events and factories and flea markets and all this other stuff. And I would set up with my team, and we'd set up with this new grassroots coffee company. And one day I wanted to give the people who owned the company, I wanted to, say thank you, because I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying myself. And my first story, Sharon edited it. My first story. And I told the couple who were running the coffee company, I said, hey, I just wanted to say I'm having a blast. I'm having fun. So I decided I was trying to buy them a gift, like going to the store and finding something. And one night, God decided I was wasting my time going to the store looking for something. God said, you know what? Use what's in your hand. You don't have to secure or buy anything for anybody. You already have it internally. So I loved what I was doing. So I turned the coffee into a person, and I wrote a love story. And
Mhm.
I wanted all of the people in the book to be people of a certain age, people who believe that love has turned their back on them or forgotten about them or overlooked, dismissed, and discounted them. And I was thinking like love had passed a couple of people by, but all of a sudden she stopped and she turned back around and looked at them, and she said, let me show you something. So she went back and made them, or gave the person, a love story. But I
Oh.
said it's not for the youth. It's not dismissing or discounting the youth. It's just the world is theirs. They sometimes put people of a certain age, they put you on a shelf. And just because I'm older, because I was thinking about myself, I'm an older woman. I don't some of the things that the youngsters are doing doesn't fascinate or intrigue me, but I love romance, and I am a love junkie, and I have a love Jones for love. So therefore I decided to sit down and write love stories. And I wrote 13 different love stories inside
Oh.
my coffee fairy tales. I turned the coffees into middle-aged people, and every coffee story is totally different, even though the names of the characters might show up in different stories, but It's a love story. And also, Sharon, I wanted you to see what the coffee looked like in my mind as a person.
Really?
So,
Oh, yes. I saw those.
yeah, I wanted you to see
Beautiful.
what the people looked like
Yes.
because they're all middle-aged people. It's men and women. It's not just one. It's men and women. And I
Wow.
wrote love stories for all of them. And I
Wow.
wanted you to know that if I had a liking, did I tell someone, because I'm a coffee aficionado, if I would go to a coffee shop and I place an order and a beautiful man shows up and delivers the coffee to me and then sits down and has a conversation with me, and I would be sitting there like, well, who are you? I'm your order. I'm your coffee.
Ooh, wee.
And I was like, oh, have mercy. So I was like, yes, I could do this. I could do this. So that's how that idea was birthed out into the universe.
Well, one thing I can tell you, I am impressed in capital letters because one thing I think people don't understand is that we are losing romance.
Yes. Yes.
People have marginalized sex. They have marginalized coming together and made it a physical act when it's an act that intrigues, that lifts up, that makes your tummy feel good, makes your heart sing, helps you think clearly. There are so many things that romance can do for you. And so people have started to do the numbers game. Oh, on my bedpost, I've got 1,000 women. Big deal. What did you leave with them? That's the moral of the story. And for the woman who has become a repository, come on now. You deserve so much more. Okay, so I'm going to get off of my soapbox. And I'm,
Nothing wrong with it, Sharon. Nothing wrong with it because you are speaking the truth. Because I have a lot of friends that are in the dating arena,
mhm.
and they are saying, people don't date like they used to. And here I am now. I'm a recent widower, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not right now for me. I'm sort of scared because I hear the horror stories of some of the things, and people want, guys are looking for a happy ending too. They're looking for someone to love and take care of them. I'm sorry, not love. They want somebody to take care of them. Some
Mm,
of the men, but some of the men that grew up in our era, they understand romance. It's a dance. And you need to make sure you bring the right dancing shoes because I can't dance with you if you in Timberlands. That's cool. I love Timberlands now, but make sure that what we are about to do, we're gonna dance because you need to be able to talk to me. You can't be talking at me with some of the language that some of the youth use because I feel as if I miss the boat on some of the things that they're saying. I'm like, I don't have a clue. Someone said to me the other day, say less. And I said, are you asking me to shut up? And he said, no, no, no. I understand what you're saying, so you don't have to say anymore. Oh, okay.
wow. Wow.
Okay. So,
Okay. I don't like that.
I mean, it somewhat troubled me, but I'm of a certain age that the newfangled things, they don't thrill me. I like stability and consistency. I like a man to be a man with me. I'm not asking you to walk in and do all the other stuff. I just need you to be a man, but don't show up if you need somebody to take care of you. I'm
Mhm,
not that chick.
mhm,
But when you talk to me,
mhm,
you have to be in the right mindset.
mhm,
You can't. we have to do some things. We can't just sit around and hang out at the house and eat and then sleep. Oh, no, sir. There's a whole world out there waiting for all of us to explore and encounter, especially people of a certain age because they've raised their kids. They've
Yes.
done all that stuff. They
Yes.
might have had the romance in the marriage, but now that some of the marriages are over with,
Hmm.
they can be their own architect and say, you know what, this is what I want. And I'm not offended if you cannot give it to me. I'm just making you aware. I'm actively seeking it out. It's nothing personal, but it's not my concern if you don't understand. That's
Hmm.
personal. This is my journey.
And I believe that when we own it
Mm-hmm.
and know what we need and
Mm-hmm.
what we want, we can say no easily. Yeah. When you reach a certain age, it's not, I gotta have a man. There's nobody at the Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner who can say to you, when are you going to get married? These young people, I know they get that pressure put on them,
Uh-huh.
but but the truth of the matter is simply this. We
Mm-hmm.
know what we know now, and we can wait on it, and we're willing to wait on it.
Yeah. So if you have to stand on the sidelines of my life and watch me pass you by because you don't want to do anything other than what you want to do, if we are a couple or a team, it in my understanding, but I'm no Rhodes Scholar, Sharon, but in my
Oh, but
understanding,
you do know romance.
I do romance. I do know
Yes,
romance because I
yes.
was married for 38 years. And I have been missing that since my husband passed. But I know when the time is right for me, God will make it so. And I was telling the Lord, I said, I want someone that you want for me. I
Mm.
want someone actively seeking you because I don't have time to pull you along and, you know, teach you the Bible, take you to church, show you all this other stuff. Listen, we are adults, and I know we are coming from two totally different worlds. But if you desire to hang out with me and I like you, we can do some things. But if by chance you're going to be stuck in those same old ways that you have been entertaining for years, pass me by. I am not offended because I know what I want. And why should I sit there and waste my life and yours with you not wanting to do anything with me and me wanting to do things with you? So you have to have a willing spirit. If you do not possess that willing spirit, I'm not offended. It's
Mhm.
just, I'm not the chick for you. I
Mm,
am not that chick.
mm. And that's all right. It's okay to put things on pause until you see what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. Now
Mm-hmm.
you know me,
Mm-hmm.
and you may not have known, but I would like you to read an excerpt from something because I just love your voice.
Which book, Sharon?
We got to keep it, you
Oh,
know.
PG. Oh, I'm sorry, because I do. I'm so sorry. I do live in the erotic arena, and I love sex sales, and I like all of my
Yeah, I want to
stories.
look, I want to stay on these platforms.
Well, as a courtesy to you, Sharon, I'm going to read an excerpt from the first coffee fairy tale that I wrote, the one that you edited, and it's titled House Blend.
Oh.
And the woman starts, it's called House Blend, the original. The woman starts by saying, looking at me, that you would never think about the truth about me. Why are you wondering? Because I do have desires like most people. It's just I don't wear them on my sleeve. I don't display them and I don't talk about them. I do have desires. In my mind, I'm an average lady with average looks and I live an average life. But on this day, the one person that I desire is housed in a studio across the street. There is a man that does not have a clue that I exist. Oh, but I would love to have a nice conversation with him. But I am out here at this flea market with my sisters doing a weekend event selling coffee. We sell a pop-up, we do a pop-up event. And but on this day, it was something about the wind because I felt as if the wind was whispering his name in my ears. And I felt as if I was percolating under the collar. I was getting the vapors. So, this young man that I enjoy looking at is a dancer, and he's in a studio right across the street. And him and his friends come over weekly to buy some of the coffee and the danishes and stuff that we have at our coffee shop. But on this day, he was sporting a purple outfit with purple glasses. He had on boots and he was dressed for the environment. But oh, he made me smile with wonder. The swirl of my imaginations was ushering me to have an instructional dance with him. I would love to take dance lessons with this young man, but he didn't pay me any attention. You see, I work at a coffee shop with my sisters. I am the elder. All of my sisters are fancy and new. I am considered rather ordinary, and nobody actually pays me any attention. I basically set up the shop and get everything running. I make sure that our inventory is up to standards. But on this day, this young man and his friends came across the street to secure themselves some coffee. I moved myself to the back of the line because they never really talked to me anyway. But as I was standing in the back of the line, the gentleman whose name is Mr. Italian Dark Roast, he steps up and buys some coffee and he keeps ushering himself to where I am. I end up stepping around the corner to remove myself out of harm's way because my sisters are all pretty fancy and new. They have elegant names like Hazelnut and Cinnamon. I am just house bland. I'm just basically like the girl next door. But on this day, this gentleman steps in front of me and finally asked me, "What is my name?"
Whoa.
My sister saw this gentleman talking to me and she decided to move over and tell him that whatever he needed, she could take care of it. And he said to her, "Sweetheart, I see what I need and I see who she is. You're wasting your time talking to me. Let me go on and talk to her." They introduced themselves because he extends his hands to shake hers. She was in awe. She was nervous. She had butterflies in her stomach, and steam was coming out of the back of her head because she felt as if she was on a slow percolating steam. Steam was building up in her. But this gentleman said, I've been waiting to speak with you for a while. And every time I come over, you're always gone or you're always busy." He said, "Why don't you finally surrender and dance with me?" And it was at that moment that the location turned into a dream scene. Everybody stopped. A dance floor appeared. The woman, Houseblend, looked down at herself and discovered that she was in a ball gown. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Italian Dark Roast extended his hand and said, "Dance with me." And she took his hand and the dance floor showed up. The music began to play and they took a swirl. And he said, "I would just like one thing." And she said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, just a small kiss, just to get this adventure started out properly." And she said, "How do you know that I'm not married?" And he said, "I already checked. I know you're not married. I've already talked to all of your sisters about you, but I've just been waiting because you seem like you're afraid of me and you're afraid of something." And she said, "No, I'm organic. So therefore I don't really do this interaction." And he said, "Organic?" She said, "Yeah, I'm a coffee. He said, well, I'm going to be the cup for your coffee.
Ooh.
And they danced around the floor. She smiled at him. She let down her guard as Mr. Italian Dark Roast stepped up, gave her the kiss of a lifetime that made her knees buckle.
Ooh.
And she was like, you know what? I believe that we could have a nice brewing match, brewing like you're brewing coffee, a nice brewing session if you'd like. He said, oh, I always wanted a brewing session with you, but it's just I didn't want to show my hand, so I've just been waiting. He said, heaven knows that I'm going to offer, you're going to have a testimony to give because I've been lonely and I've been looking for someone like you. And she said, I've been lonely too. I would love to have a dance with you. So they ended up dancing. He gave her the kiss, and that was the first official story and the introduction to coffee fairy tales. So
That is so good. I
thank you.
love it. Well,
Thank
I
you.
want to thank you for sharing a bit of yourself with us today and taking us on an adventure and reminding us of how important romance is. So, any parting words you want to leave for our folks?
Get an opportunity to meet me. You can stop by my
We're
website
going to
for my
have
books. You do have it, right?
yes, we're going to have your link is underneath this interview. So they'll be able to contact you. Okay. And you've got a freebie.
I do. I'm giving out one of my books. Uh, I must have left it. Uh,
Well, just tell us the name.
it's the third installment to my Roxanne. It's called I Ain't Got No Business. And it's very racy. So get your minds right, boys and girls, and strap yourselves down. So
Oh, and tell them about your podcast.
oh, I do a Dessert Novella Suites podcast where I tell you the naughty stories. You don't get an opportunity to see me, but it is me sitting there talking and telling you a nice, naughty story. And I mean naughty story. So if by chance violence, vulgarity, and lots of sex offend you, I'm not the author for you. Not on this go round, because
Oh,
it's sex filled and it's a fun loving podcast, and I've had a blast. And Sharon was the one that suggested that I do it, and I fought her tooth and nail.
yes, she did,
Um,
but I won.
She did because I was like, I don't know about you all, but as for me, sometimes I don't like the way I sound. So therefore, I thought I was going to hire, someone to read my stories for me. And Sharon said to me, oh, no, ma'am. No, we're not doing that. She said, nobody else is going to get famous behind your stories. No, ma'am. And I said, well, Sharon, I'm a Southerner, and, I struggle with certain words, and my Southern twang will kick in sometimes. And she said, nope, nope, I'm sorry. You're going to just do it. So I had to sit there and make myself slow down and enunciate my words and make sure that you are understanding what I am saying. So if you go to my Dessert Novella Suites podcast, you'll see a beautiful picture. You'll see the title of the dessert and just it's over 20 something, and just click the button and I will start telling you a nice, naughty, and racy little story. And it's for the lovers in you.
And I love that. And I love you. And I want them to know not only will we have her website and the opportunity to get a copy of the book, but we will also have the link to her podcast. Okay.
Yes.
I just may go over to that podcast myself and see, what's going on over there. But I want to say thank you, Gail. It's always a pleasure. And um, thank you for reminding people that romance is important.
It's still alive and kicking. No matter what you think you see on TV and the way they escort it out the door, love is like, oh no, I'm love. And you don't tell me what to do. I tell you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you again. Listeners, viewers, I want you to know we have had such a great time today talking about love and romance. And we know you have enjoyed this session and we have more to come. So, again, thank you, Gail.
Thank
And
you, Sharon. Much success with this. Much success with this dating, 50 and flirting. That it is just phenomenal. I've been having a blast. So,
well, we're going to have more fun in the
okay.
days
Okay.
to come, but I also want people to remember everyone we have brought is an expert, and they are pouring forth out of their hearts so that you can have love, the love you deserve, the love you want, and in some instances, the love you need.
Yes. Yes. It may not all be in the physical arena, but even friendship is a level of love. So,
Absolutely.
that's beautiful. And from the love junkie that lives in me, love on. So,
I love it. Goodbye, and we'll be back with more. Thank you, Gail, again.
you're welcome, Sharon. Thank you. Bye.